Mula sa kabisera ng Inglaterra, sa puso ng Britanya, London, UK. London, UK. Ito ang Channel Philippines Network, Pinoy Radio UK. Pinoy Radio UK. Sumasahing papawid 24 oras. 24 oras. Buong linggo. Sa www.pinoyradiouk.com. Ang mga pinakapaborito mga awitin, mga pinakaabangang programa, at mga sariwang balita at impormasyon mula at para sa mga kababayang Pilipino sa UK at sa buong mundo. Pinoy Radio UK. Pinoy Radio UK.
Okay, happy Thursday ho. Magandang gabi sa inyo lahat, no? Happy Thursday ng gabi sa ating mga kababayan sa kasulong ng United Kingdom. Ako po si Sonny LARAGAN. It's a happy Thursday. Magandang gabi sa inyo lahat. And yata hopefully yata ang last Thursday of the month of August. And that means pagtapos na ho yung summer and next month kung mga first weekend, kung hindi tayo nabuti na po. Anong tama ka ba, Andre? No. So, I think it's the 25th, so another 7 days, lalagpas na ako sa August 31. Ibig sabihin yan, nasa autumn na ho tayo, no? At malapit na ho, bare months na ho. Sa Pilipinas, uso-uso na yung pag-bare months, September, pag-isa-isa na nag-play ng Christmas songs, no? Yan ang talaga sa mga Pilipino, no? Bagamat maraming mga Christmas, masaya pa rin, iba pa rin, no? Kukutin na, masaya pa rin. Okay, so good evening sa inyo lahat. Welcome sa ating program. Ito po ang Immigration Corner on Thursday. Yan, every 7:30 onwards yan dito sa Philippine TV Europe. At siyempre, good evening din sa ating mga kababayan sa apat na sulong ng Europa, no? Yung outside of the UK. So, good evening ho. Sa Pilipinas, Southeast Asia, magandang madaling araw ho sa inyo. Sa Amerika, magandang magandang gabi. Hapon ho sa inyo. New York and California, parehong nasa almost afternoon na yun, no? So, good evening ho. Good afternoon, should I say. And siyempre, Middle East, hindi ko alam kung anong oras sa Middle East, but just the same, magandang araw sa inyo. Kung kayo ho ay dapat pa na nakapagluto sa amin, welcome ho. Ito ho yung advice, no? Immigration advice. Kung meron kayo mga katanungan sa immigration, mag-message na po kayo, pumunta po kayo sa Filipino TV Europe. Yun ho ang ating Facebook page at ang ating YouTube channel din ho, pareho din ho. So you can send us messages while the show is ongoing kung sakaling may mga tanong kayo. Okay. Siyempre, pakinggan natin yung ating eksperto. Siya ho ang siyempre, magkahalaman. Siya ho ay isang abogada, no? Ay ang equivalent ho dito sa United Kingdom solicitor, no? Abogada ho siya. At she's been practicing over 20 years na ng immigration. So, siyempre, tawagin natin yung ating pinakamamahal, no? Elegant, may mga description na. Gaganda mo natin, elegant, no? Elegant, the beautiful, the brainy, mga kaibigan si Attorney LIRA, SIMON-CABATBAT. Happy Thursday, Attorney!
Sonny, happy Thursday! You're so kind always, ikaw naman. So it's anyway. Thank you for having me back on nga, no. Happy Thursday, everyone! I'm so excited to be here nga. Hopefully nakikita niyo ako. I can see myself a bit. I'm a bit jaggedy, so hopefully that writes itself nga. Sabi mo, no, Sonny, over 20 years in practice. Actually, I thought next year, mag 30 years na ako in practice. But I looked at my certificate, and in fact, 30 years na ako ngayon.
Wow!
I
Wow!
know, and
30
I know it's
years.
astonishing.
Oh,
30
all
years
right.
in it's astonishing since qualification. It doesn't even include nga, my training days, huh? Okay, this is me being admitted to practice as a solicitor, no?
Ano yan?
That was 30 years last February. So it's a
Wow!
long time. Yeah,
30
no,
years.
I mean,
Oh, okay.
ako nga din, nagulat ako that I've been emailing people to say, okay, next year, maybe, let's see about, maybe celebrating, because
Mm.
it's obviously, 3 decades na nga. I was emailing people saying next year I'm 30 years, no, in February next year. But truly, to my surprise, and it was only the last Monday, tinignan ko ulit yung certificate ko, and it was, I'm 30 years
Ah,
already.
akala mo next year pa. Akala mo
Akala ko
February of
next
next
year pa.
year. Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
but
So tapos na. Actually,
actually, 30 years,
you're on your
tapos na.
30th year now. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
this
Okay.
is not this year. Um, uh, in February, 30 years ago, I started. So yeah, so in February, well, that was February. So I'm now 30 years and what, 6 months thereabouts, no? So yeah, a long time, huh? It's
Ah,
life
oh.
has it's changed quite a bit, no, since nung
Aha.
nag-umpisa ako, well, of course, nag-umpisa tayo. There's no such thing as
Eh,
internet, not really, no.
yeah, okay. Yes, yes. Pero
Yeah,
ito, when you say 30,
mobile
this was the
phones,
time that well, this was when you started really as a solicitor na. Kasama pa ba yan yung, di ba, merong parang, ano tayo yung period na yun, yung mga 2 years or 3 years that you have
training
to
contract.
under training contract, kasama na yun, or kasama na
Nope,
yun, attorney? Hindi pa.
hindi,
So
hindi,
you on
exclusive.
the day that you were in February 30 years ago, yun yung parang okay ka na, natanggap ka na sa SRA ba? SRA ba nung araw? Meron na ba yun?
Yeah, SRA, Solicitors Regulatory Authority at the time. So yeah, so that
Galing mo
excludes
naman.
the training time, and of course excludes the study time, huh? So that
Oo.
30 years ago in February, I was admitted as a solicitor in the United Kingdom.
Wow.
So
Well, we
astonishing.
should toast that all. Yeah, although that's about many months ago. Pero yeah, now that you've realized it, now at least, di ba? We celebrate it now. Sabi yung ating champagne dyan. Hindi, ano na ngayon, di ba? Hindi na siya.
We should.
But yeah, well,
No, no,
kudos,
somebody should.
congratulations, attorney. Congratulations
Astonishing.
talaga. Oo, because 30 years is 30 years. Parang siguro time flew by so quickly, no? Parang hindi mo na realize you were so wide-eyed, eager, as a young solicitor. Pero teka muna. 30 years ago, you were a solicitor. Pero did you uh, decide or think that you'd be, uh, you know, you know, um, walking or the path of no, immigration? No, yun na ba talaga, ano mo? Did you set your mind out to really go into immigration?
I mean, it was, I knew I wanted to do, I knew what I didn't want to do. No, I did not want to do commercial law. Um,
Okay.
I did not, I was not interested in commercial law. I was not interested in, property law,
Criminal
no
law.
conveyancing, so yon. Criminal
Okay.
law, probably more interest than say commercial law, because I wanted to work now with people directly, no? And you have less of a chance to do that nga kung, if you're doing, commercial law, for example, because it's a different field, obviously, altogether. So I wanted to work directly with people, and so there the main choices would have been family law, which actually was my specialty at one point, or immigration nga, no? And so I started my professional life, mainly as a family lawyer, and then I'm still doing family law now, but predominantly nga it's immigration. It's my passion, no? But it's changed also so much. The last 30 years, oh gosh, I mean, it's everything has changed. Process, no. Also, of course, the law. There've been so many changes.
Siyempre,
It's
30 years.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, when I started in practice, British Nationality Act 1981 was new.
Okay.
So,
Okay,
ngayon,
okay.
we're
Oh.
2022, it's years later. And now they're going to introduce a 1942 Act. No, it's astonishing.
Would you remember? Would you remember ano yung mga highlights ng 1981? That was set out then and have changed. May mga changes. Ano ba mga main changes? I remember kasi, ayun, for example, ang permanent residency was 4 years yata. Ngayon ba 5 years na?
5 years. 5 years. Yeah.
Oh,
No,
dati
tama ka.
inabot kayo 4 years. 4 years.
Yeah.
Tapos yung rule
Yeah.
na 5-3 ba yun? Yung pag-spouse yata, pagka-spouse mo British na, paano ba? British ba? Parang may 5-3 eh. You can shorten it to 3 years pa, tama ba? Hindi ko na matandaan eh. May mga changes na.
There's
Oh,
no,
tsaka
tama
yung
ka.
Oo. At saka yung pinag-uusapan natin, so difficult, the adult dependent truth, gano'n, di ba sabi mo, parang next to impossible. But before, the rule was any child or whatever dependent lower than 18 or parents yata over 65, ganyan, pa pwedeng dalhin, di ba? Ngayon, they now are, yun ba? Yung 1981 yan?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the 30. Oh gosh, maybe I should actually no, prepare no, an article about this or to discuss it
Oo,
more
kasi yung
thoroughly.
mga
But
changes,
you
di
know,
ba?
of the yeah,
Oo.
yeah, massive changes.
Kasi sabi mo, marami
Just
ka na
off the
nakita
top of
eh.
my head,
Oo.
tama ka. Definitely. I mean, the things that immediately come to mind are for spouses,
Okay.
for example. Not that so
Okay.
spouses, nung unang-una, you did not need to show any probationary period. Once you make an application, your spouse, you then got the visa immediately, indefinite na, no?
Mm.
Tapos nilagyan nila ng isang taon, no? Tapos they increased that to I think it was something like 3 years. That's probably what you were saying, or 2.5 years. Ngayon, ang probationary period na 5 years, no? There was something called the 14-year rule, inalis nila yun. Now that was replaced to some extent by this 20-year rule, for example. No? We were, of course, no, EU, ngayon hindi na, but that's a relatively recent change. There was no fee at one point, no, to become British.
Oh, really?
Walang bayad.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But then they
Wow.
introduced a small fee, which was something like 55 pounds ata muna, no? And then there was no. I remember when there was no English test, no, not at all, no English test. And then they introduced something that they have to go and see a solicitor. Like me nga, there are I then needed to certify if they can speak English because I couldn't present an interview nga in English, and I certify it. Tapos na yon, no? Hindi mo kailangan ng kung anong test. Or certainly not life in the UK, for example. Tapos ngayon, of course, now you have the B1 test. Tapos meron ka pa yung life in the UK test, no? And of course, this was a long time ago now. Walang mga cards, walang BRP. Na tatak nga lang. Ang umpisang visa ni tatak na visa, it was only a stamp, no? The stamp that you normally get, no?
Yes. Parang nakadikit lang na stamp na di ba?
Yun, padikit lang. Yeah. It was a kind of a colorful stamp, no? May blue and green. Yun ang una. Tapos pinalitan nila, it became a kind of triangular, I think, stamp nga in black nga. Tapos it became a black rectangular stamp. Tapos yung sticker, no? Ngayon, of course, now may BRP na. Of course, the IHS. Dati walang IHS, Immigration Health Surcharge, no? So ngayon, it's now 600 pounds approximately per year when they're calculating it. So kung 2.5 years ang application nyo, then it's about 1,600 pounds, slightly less, no? So there have been so massive changes, no? Article 8 nga, no, human rights, all of that. there've been so many changes. Oh, the spousal income, dati. I remember when there
Oh,
was
yan.
no
Oh, tatanong
spousal
ko sana yan.
income, no limit.
Tatanong ko sana yan.
Yeah,
Oo.
walang limit. Ngayon,
Walang limit. Kay
18,600 and
Oo.
kahit ano.
Oo,
Kung
oo.
meron kang
So,
income,
mas
wala
madali
kang
dati.
income, pwede.
Oh, pwede.
Yeah,
You can get
absolutely. In many ways.
yung spouse mo, pwede mo kunin. No? Walang problema nun.
Yeah, walang income
Oh, galing.
limit.
So,
It doesn't even matter how many, kung meron kang anak, meron kayong mga anak o wala nga. Ngayon, of course, there's the
oo.
spouse, 18,600. Tapos, tumataas kung meron kayong mga anak na hindi nga British, So, it's,
Oo.
there have been truly so many changes that the 3 decades nga, the 30 years that I've been in practice, it's it's immense, no, mga the changes. Some um, uh, in Maine, they've not been for the they've not been to relax the rules. They've been really to tighten the rules. Oh, actually, of course, I mustn't forget, no, the domestic worker concession, no, sorry, no, and I was in fact involved
Oh, oo.
in the campaign there, no.
Oo.
So that was back
Sa
in
Westminster.
1997. Yeah,
Oo.
1997, when it was introduced, no, and then it became law in 2002 also. So and then unfortunately it was then
Scrapped.
repealed, no, in scrapped
Repealed. Oh.
altogether in
Mm.
2012, no. So there've been
Mm.
such massive changes,
Ang
and
dami, no?
I wouldn't
Ang
say
dami,
for the
no?
better. And dami, it's been truly astonishing. It's been exciting for practitioners now, like me. It's truly been exciting because it's you had to keep up. You had to, of course, the
Oo.
political situations also change. It's much harder na nga ngayon. You have to be really on the ball to ensure nga that you make proper good representations, evidence also. So it's been an exciting. I must admit, even now, no, I mean it's
Mm.
probably evident from the way I talk about immigration generally.
Yeah,
Kahit
yeah.
nga ngayon,
Oh.
I'm still so excited about immigration, and particularly excited when there are good things that happen, no, that
Yeah, of
I
course.
can
Oo.
relay, but it's such an exciting area of law, immigration. I don't. I must say, I've sinuwerte ako to have gravitated towards immigration, and also the changes now that's come about since 30 years ago, and the challenges that we have now, and of course, it feels like it's a bigger world. You know what I mean? No, it's that
Yeah,
dahil
yeah,
nga,
yeah. Just,
yeah, there's so many more people. People are moving around more. There's more fluidity now with
oo.
sharing information. You could be in the Philippines, today, next week, or the week after. Could be in the United Kingdom. So
Right, right,
um,
right, right.
yeah, and it's
Yun nga, tama
exciting.
yung words board mo. I was
It's
about to say that
exciting times.
it's fluid. I was about to say fluid. Pero munting na tayo mag-fluid eh. I would say, oh, it's really fluid. Sabihin mo naman fluidity, no? There's fluidity now. So, tama, maganda. And it's ever changing because it might, okay, since you've been there 30 years, inabutan mo yung 1981 Immigration Act ba? And along the way, a lot of changes have been made. What do you think? Moving forward, may mga changes pa siguro yan, no? What would you say?
Oh, immense.
There might still be changes, immense pa rin, because for the past many years, from 1981, the Act, although 30 years ka, and 1981 would be about 41 years ago, di ba? So the Act came
Yeah,
about, and you were still probably studying then, di ba? Or
yeah,
qualifying, di ba?
yes,
Oh,
yeah,
so,
yeah. No,
yung ba,
I was studying.
Immigration Act of 1981, and then they would say changes to Immigration Act 1981. So parang yung pa rin bang core na act or law in terms of immigration, and then they're just making addendums or changes or repealing. Ano bang, how is it called still? Or nagbago na yan? Baka may Immigration Act of 2002 or 2012. 2012, di ba may changes? Tama
Yeah,
ba yan?
there've been so many
2012?
changes. So the 1981 Act is the British Nationality Act, no? So it was
Okay,
relatively
British
new,
natural.
about 10
Okay.
years old, yeah. Yeah, so about 10 years old when I, actually 1981, so it was relatively new when I started out practicing. But at the
Mm.
time, I still remember, because I started off my professional life as a family
1992 ka.
lawyer, no?
Kung 30 years ka ngayon, 1992 ka, tama ba, attorney? Tama?
Yeah, 1992. Tama,
Oh,
tama.
1992.
So,
Okay, okay. So
so
eleven
it
years
was
yung
still,
Nationality Act
yeah.
earlier.
Yeah, the British
Okay.
National, yeah. But I remember studying the Children Act 1989. No,
Hmm. Iba pa
it
yan.
was a big
Sa
deal.
family, sa
Yeah,
family
iba
law
pa
ba yan?
yun, no? Family law, and it was a
Oh.
big deal
Oh.
at the time because it was a way of putting together various laws that have been that really needed overhauling. So it was a massive undertaking, the Children Act 1989. And I remember
Mm.
studying it. And I remember qualifying and thinking, oh, okay, now at least I got to study it, and now I can practice it. No, so it's no, and going forward, I think immigration nga is it will continue to be exciting and absolutely challenging. No? I think the yun nga lang, my concern for immigration is it's moving away. I think too much na, away from it's not terribly people friendly. I don't think, no. Dahil nga a lot of it is they try and standardize everything, but that's the thing with immigration and family law. It's difficult to standardize them because for the most part, you're dealing with different factors, different needs, no, also. And I think in the past there was this discretion was far stronger. That's getting whittled down really, and that worries me. So I think it will continue to be challenging. It will be a very interesting, next decade. No? So gosh, next decade. Oh, Sonny, next 10 years from now, 40 years na ako in law.
Oo nga. Teka muna, if I
It's
were to
hard.
paraphrase, galing, galing. But well, imagine and then you're heading forward pa, no? Attorney, ano lang, I just would like to, can I paraphrase it? Pwede ba, just parang if we can get it, no? More or less. Kung ipa-paraphrase ko yung sinabi mo, now it's not people-friendly because you said that, you mentioned that, ipa-paraphrase ko into Tagalog, yung in a layman's language. Pwede ba na, are you saying now na parang mas nagpahigpit ba ang immigration? Is that how you
Yeah.
could, is that tama ba yung paraphrasing ko nun? Because you say it's not,
Tama
para
ka.
bang, you might,
Tama ka.
are you, sinasabi mo na humihigpit, parang sumisikip yung daan. Hindi ka mukha nung araw, discretionary siguro, maluwag. People can say na, people you met 20, 30 years ago, ang luwag nung araw. Ganyan, siguro, ganyan ba expression nila? O ngayon ba is pasikip na, is that what you said by not people friendly? Hindi na siya people, parang mahigpit na.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's no, tama ka. Definitely unang-una nga, mas maigpit na nga ngayon. Especially even compared 10 years ago, 20 years ago, certainly 30 years ago. Mas maigpit na nga ngayon. But more than that, my worry is yung nga nawawala na nga yung iniipit nga nila yung discretion, no? So kung nandito ka, so for example, nandito ka, wala kang visa, gusto mo ikasal nga dito, meron kang relationship, genuine nga yung relationship nyo, dito nakatira yung asawa mo, hindi nga lang basta-basta makakauwi kayong pareho, sabihin natin ibang lahi nga yung asawa mo, nandito nga siya, no? Dito siya nag-aral, dito pamilya niya, dito nga siya nagtatrabaho. That is harder now, no, to convince them to see na of course they must exercise their discretion. So ito nga the issue of discretion has become more of a rarity, no. So you have to work doubly hard, if not triple, no, to get them to see na talaga itong kasong ito, they should exercise and should properly consider it to be an exceptional case. So where they apply the exceptionality, no principle nga, what they consider to be exceptional seem to be getting less and less. Lumilit and lumilit what they consider to be exceptional. And that worries me because I think that takes away, if you like, without wishing to be melodramatic about it, but it does take away, I think, the humanity, no, in the in immigration. If they're not willing to look at those at factors that really should be looked at on and should amount to exceptional grounds. So yung lumilit yung mga circumstances that they think are exceptional. And so, I mean, for immigration practitioners like me, it becomes more challenging, so it's so that's sa akin, that's a worry. What I like though, a little bit, I suppose, about immigration, with the slight change in the process is the, I suppose, the introduction of this points-based system. It's made it a little bit fairer, no? So kung meron ka mga qualifications, kung kailangan ka nga dito, then as certain with healthcare workers nga, it's potentially easier to come into the United Kingdom. So that's why I was quite keen to yung topic nga natin ngayon, which is looking at the care visa 6 months on since its introduction on the 16th of February 2022. This is an example of points-based system working, I think. Whereas in the past, it may have been more difficult and confusing. Ngayon, it's a little bit easier, I think, at least for those jobs nga that with skill sets na kailangan nga dito. So they're a little bit more mindful of the economy's needs for those. But I think partly also dahil nga meron tayong internet na, no? So it's a little bit easier also to find, may trabaho ba dyan sa UK, may trabaho ba sa Canada, may trabaho ba dito sa Pilipinas, no? And linking it. So it's truly it's been such an exciting and rewarding 30 years. So I can't wait for to see what the next 10 years bring. I don't know if I'll be about another 20 years, but certainly I'm looking to still be about for another 10, hopefully at least.
Okay, okay. Right, may isa pang nagbago yata, attorney, parang dati, I don't know, unique ang UK. I don't know if as, know this, o siyempre, you know this, no? Yung student visa, uh, very unique ang UK because people can easily set up colleges. Yung mga Indians or Asians, as they call them, mga Africans, uh, they could easily come up with colleges. Kaya ako binabanggit to because I was able to set up then via, unlike the other in the Philippines and some other places, sa abroad, sa America at sa ibang places, dito sa UK, hindi yung college ang nagbibigay ng ng award eh. Ang nag-award diyan yung mga Excel, BTech, ano pa ba yung mga RS Royal Society of Oxford, RSA ba yung mga ganun eh. Sila ang that you get the certificates from them. You just have a school, and then there would come some I forget kung observers or whatever yung mga nag-grade. And then, mari-release yung, yung certificate mo, okay, SONNY LARAGAN College of Health and Social Care, halimbawa. But that level 1, whatever, health and social care, will be given by one of those, guilds, city and guilds, alam mo yun sa Oxford, OCR, Oxford, Cambridge, Royal Society, ganon, OCR. Kasi I was starting that eh. So, yan, in-abuse yan, di ba? So, yan na siguro na-isolve na rin because you would see some people, siguro mga 50 years old, 60 years old, na kunyari, black woman, halimbawa, working in a hotel, o naglilinis, pero she's here actually on a student visa, na forever student, di ba? Parang ganun ang nangyayari doon. Have you encountered some of this? Have you had some clients on this? Ito wala na to, no? Hindi na ngayon tira ano na ba ngayon ng student? Mas maigpit na, no? There was a time na ano ba, ilang hours ang working lang? 10 hours per day, per week ba? 20 hours per week. Pagka walang klase, unlimited number of hours. Pero ngayon, binaba na yata, ginawa na nilang parang you have to take a ano ba, university course or collegiate course and then limited ang working hours. Kasi ginawa nila, di ba? Parang ginawa kunyari route yan to come over, pero actually working route yun. You know, people are working in ano. Ano kwento na, attorney?
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, no, I remember that actually, Sony. You know that there was that was quite a problem. Dahil yung nga, unfortunately, that process was abused. You know, in part. Now, I mean, I would say predominantly the people who were coming in were coming in quite properly. Talagang gusto na mag-aral, and there were quite some of them who came in to study, tapos yung nga, hindi naman ganun yung college nila, were very disappointed, and I've certainly come across those, and they wanted their money back because one gusto nilang gawin nga dito is they wanted to study, they want to add to the qualifications. But there were certainly, unfortunately, organizations nga that abused, if you like, the system, and but it's and that led, of course, to to licensing, the need for the need for monitoring, the need for checking, the removal of licenses, and I can see that, that they when a system is open to abuse, and any system really would be open to abuse, there will always be people who want to take advantage. There should be properly monitoring. It should not be it's open for all without any kind of conditions. And when someone's coming in to study, they should be coming in to study. But yeah, no, it's it certainly happened, and this was actually not too long ago, siguro 10, 15 years ago, no, that all that changed, and colleges were being closed down like on a daily basis, and a lot of people lost their money because they couldn't. The college would be open today, but dumating sila ngayon, tapos nag-aral sila for 1 week, tapos wala na.
Sarado.
And then they had problems, sarado, So, and then they had problems finding something else, and even if they could find something else, yung tuition fee, dalang bigat nga, So, it's also, I suppose it's made it kind of more interesting, immigration, because of the other, if you like, outside, if you like, institutions involved. It's not like hindi nga lang na ako and then the home office. You're also looking at employers, colleges, of course yung applicant nga. So all these things come into it. Now, that's the great thing now about immigration. That's why it's never ever boring. Immigration is and this is something I'm often asked by the younger generation, and they say, "Oh no, I mean, how do you find it now? You still find it exciting?" Absolutely. It remains to be a passion of mine. Then, where else can you get a job that allows you to, if you're lucky, allows you to reunite people, to help someone get their liberty, to help someone get jobs, they'll help them with their livelihood, to help them study, and maybe make themselves more marketable, for example. But the best, absolutely the best, is when you family reunions, even now, it's I'm a sucker really for good endings. And I'm still very fortunate to be involved in where sometimes nga kliyente ko wala nga silang status, tapos nagawa nga namin yun, nakatulong nga kami, tapos nakuha nila ng asawa nila, no? Tapos nakuha nila ng mga anak nila o mayroon silang anak dito. And at the moment, my record is third generation, no? So, akong tumulong sa magulang, tapos kinuha nila yung anak nila, tapos yung anak nila nag-asawa nga, and
Kinukuha
then,
naman yung anak. Oo.
yeah, kinukuha naman yung anak sa atin, for example. I have a few of those at the moment. It's astonishing. It really is the the feeling of seeing a family go through three generations, and you helping, and I remember especially yung mga anak nga, and they show me their passports, and I remember the old passports nung maliliit pa nga sila, and with pigtails, for example, or the and they look so small, and now I see them, they have jobs, they have good jobs, tapos they're bringing in their family, they're doing well, and then they say to their parents, no, gaano mag-alan na ngayon, nay, okay na kami, and it truly is. I've been so privileged. I have been truly privileged to be involved in some wonderful, clients.
Well,
It's
I can see that,
astonishing.
attorney. You're so animated talking about it kasi talagang ano kapag yun nga, yung lives, di ba? Yung mga family reunions. Siguro, attorney, ang bango-bango mo siguro. No? The two things. You are so mabango. Secondly, maraming tissue dyan. Pag nagkakaiyakan, pupunas na yan ng mata. Mabango ka because, syempre, they will have to hug you sometimes. Probably the whole family is hugging you, di ba? Or, di ba? Yung higpit ng yakap sa'yo, di ba? So at least, siguro nagpapabango ka. Ako, mamaya kasi, mamaya ito, family reunion ito, magkikita kami. Kailangan, ayos mo to smell good. Dahil biglang tatalon sa akin doon, yayakapin ako, di ba? So, yeah, it's nice. It's wonderful. And then I can feel how it is. Parang kasi emotional yan eh. It's family, di ba? You know, some people, the reason why they're coming over is para sa pamilya, para sa pamilya. Ganun. They make the sacrifices, di ba? Mapalayo. And for them, it's heavenly joy yan. Diba? Madala mo. Yung you wanted to build a future and then you were able to successfully, through your help, through the legal, going through the procedure, nadala rito, diba? It's a wonderful feeling. And you're talking of families. And now, third generation, baka pati fourth generation, fifth generation attorney diba? Andiyan pa sa'yo, diba? Hindi natin alam. Because things are changing, diba? Hindi, nasa third generation ka na, sabi mo, diba? Oh, baka mag fourth generation ka.
Maybe I can stretch the fourth generation. I don't know about fifth generation nga, no. Yeah, but I truly get.
But
I
it's
get so
exciting,
excited when it's third generation.
By the sounds of it.
No,
Oo. Kung pwede lang kami ni Direk pa, pagka medyo may good news, tapos may darating na, makikiusyoso sana kami para makiyakap din kami, di ba? That would be fine. It's nice to, di ba, sometimes when a victory, parang ikaw kasama ka rin sa victory, di ba? And it gives you, vicarious feeling yan eh. You feel it, you also feel it. So, yeah. Oy, teka muna, may mga magtatanong pala, pero mamaya na, no? Pagkatapos, we discuss ni attorney yung kanyang topic for tonight. But in the meantime, quick na lang tayo. Sige, nagpapagbati natin. We would like to, of course, acknowledge the first people who greet us, and not only the first ones, but people who greeted us. Sige, Direct, go. Ayan, mabilis na, attorney. Sige, sino una? Sino sa palagi mo? That's a little game, no? Natuwa, alam mo na,
okay.
Ano tayo, we were carried away by the discussion natin itong una. Maganda kasi, di ba? Talagang, talking of 30 years pala, ngayon mo lang nalaman. February pa pala, you were emailing everybody, next year, 30 years ako, mag-champagne tayo. Yun pala, 31st year na pala yun. Sige, attorney, sino una?
Okay, I think, actually, I've been thinking about who today nga, no? I think Ma'am Carsola, Ma'am Cora.
Ma'am Carsola. She's going back home this weekend. Okay, Cora Carsola.
Oh, why? Okay.
Tingnan natin. Yeah. Bawi siya.
Oh,
Nasa Pilipinas din yata si Oliver. Nasa Pilipinas nga, no? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nasa
Oh, sige,
Pinas
sige,
siya
sige.
ngayon. So, yun nga. It is
Sige, attorney.
2:30. Oh, gosh.
Oh,
And in
galing.
early morning Monday here in Valenzuela City, Philippines, I've been sharing links to family and friends who are looking to emigrate and improve their lives. Oh, Oliver, you're so kind nga. Thank you, Attorney Lira, Kuya Sonny, and Derek Pao. Oliver, I hope you're having a great time. No, it sounds like you're having. Kailan ka babalik?
Yes.
You've been away for a long time, no?
Oo nga,
3
oo
weeks
nga,
na
oo,
ba?
oo, oo. Umalis din yan eh. Parang, minsan, but the nicest thing about him is wherever he goes, be it in Las Vegas, be it wherever, I think, saan pa ba yung napuntahan niya, parang talaga nanonood sa atin. Mabuhay. Ingat ha, ingat-ingat ha.
Yeah.
So, ingat dyan ha. Ingat, ingat. All
Yeah.
right. Okay, sige. Sino second, turning? So, Oliver, congratulations for being the first.
Okay.
Sige, second. Yeah,
Okay.
game natin to.
I'm okay. In that case, Oliver started it now, so I'm going for that. For Mr. Duay in that case.
Edgar Duway. Okay, direct.
Si Edgar, si
Go.
Edgar.
Tingnan
Ayan.
natin kung si Edgar nga ba. Tingnan natin. And a C. Oh! The usual! Oh, ito yung mga top contenders natin. Oh, Marian, mabuhay ka ha.
Yun
Sige,
nga.
sige, attorney.
Yeah. So, hello po, Kuya Sonny and Attorney Lira at sa lahat. Happy Thursday po and stay safe and God bless. God bless, Miss Paner. Kamusta ka? She's always
Yeah,
working, no?
musta,
Masipag si
oo.
Miss Paner.
Masipag to. Tsaka nakakatuwa, no? Talaga one of those really top contenders noon hanggang ngayon. So, thank you, thank you. Okay, sige, next. Sino pangatlo natin, attorney?
Okay. In that case, Analu. Analu Antipuesto.
Analu Antipuesto.
AA.
Sige, Analu Antipuesto. Tignan nga natin. Sige. Oh, very good. Oh, tumama ka. Oh, tumama ka rin. Oh,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
good. Very good.
Finally, no.
Okay.
So, amazing
Finally.
evening, Attorney Lira, Kuya Sonny, Derek Pao, and to all viewers, stay safe and healthy po tayo. God bless. God bless, Analu. Oh,
God bless,
new
Analu.
photo.
Oh.
Magandang picture niya. Yeah. So,
Oo, lagi
hopefully
sexy
you're
yan.
well.
Talagang, kumain ka ha. Baka baka hindi ka na kumakain ha. Kailangan sumexy ka na. Baka puro ka supplements ha. Kumain ka. Okay, alright. So, okay, next. Sige, sige katuwa na. Uy, ano pala? Gigi Alamparo, attorney. Sige, basahin mo.
Gigi, yeah. Hi, Gigi. Yeah. Good evening, Attorney
Gigi.
Lira and Kuya Sonny. Also, I think he will probably also direct pao siguro sabi niya. So, yeah.
Yeah, direct pao
Hi,
siguro.
Gigi.
Pero ano yan ha? Sige, tuloy mo, direct. So, Gigi is one of our regular viewers. Thank you very much, no? At talagang lumalaban siya, no?
Yun na nga. So,
Okay.
happy Thursday,
Go ahead.
sabi
Sino yan?
niya.
Sino sumunod? Marilyn Jones.
Marilyn
Oh!
Jones. Hi, Miss Jones.
Marilyn Jones.
Yeah, happy Thursday evening,
Hello.
Sir Sonny and Attorney Lira. Yeah. And everyone tuned in.
Yes.
Hi, Miss Jones. Kamusta ka?
Mabuhay
Hello
ka,
to
Miss
Miss
Jones,
Tomas.
ha? Thank you, ha? Miss Tomas ba yan? Yung si, ano ba yan? Lola, yung mga nagsayawan? Tama ba yan?
Yun na nga. Yeah. Yun.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
si Ma'am Cora.
Ma'am
Ma'am
Cora.
Cora Farsola.
Hi, Ma'am Cora.
Oy, Ma'am Cora.
Yeah.
Hindi ko kaya Thursday, Sabado. So, ay, ano natin, let's work out yung Sabado. Oo. Ano yan, pauwi siya ng Pilipinas. Gaano katagal ka ba sa Pilipinas, attorney? Attorney tuloy. Ma'am Cora. Attorney.
Yeah.
Ma'am Cora, oo.
Yeah, kailan po kayo babalik? So, sabi po niya, magandang gabi, Sir Sonny, Attorney Lira. And, Ma'am Cora, kailan kayo babalik? So, kailan kayo lalabas? Itong weekend?
How long? How long ang
weekend?
biyahe?
Yeah.
Hindi natin weekend. Hindi natin alam sabihin ko anong oras. Baka mamaya biglang putaktihin siya sa airport. Alam mo na. Ayaw naman natin may mga biglang hinihila si Ma'am Cora. Huwag ka na muna umalis dito ka muna. Ayan, si Analu Antipuesto ulit. Congratulations na sa ikaw. 30
salamat,
years.
Analu.
Imagine mo yun.
Yeah, it was a surprise to me.
Parang it rhymes, attorney, 30 years, third generation. Di ba? Parang ganun di ba? 30 years and then third generation na hinahandle mo. No? Ayan,
Generation.
Pag nag-40 years ka, fourth generation. Okay. Sino ba yan? Sino ba?
Marian.
Yes,
Miss Paner.
Sino ba?
Wow, congratulations
si Miss
po,
Paner.
Attorney Lira. Yeah, more power po.
Okay.
Salamat.
Okay. Salamat. Magmula kay Nakikithank you din ako kaya on behalf of attorney, no? Okay, next.
Si May Tigbao
Oy, may
Vargas. Good
tigbaw.
evening, Attorney
Oh, yes.
Lira. May, ha? And Sir
Mm.
Sonny Laragan. Happy Thursday, everyone. Hi, May.
Happy Thursday.
Nasa ka
Happy
ngayon?
Thursday, May, ha?
Hmm.
Taga ano yan eh? Taga Cornwall ba? O taga Devon, no? Si Course, ano? Sino to?
I
Uy,
think so.
GG lang
Sabi
para uli.
natin.
Uy, congratulate ka, attorney. Oh. Ito yung kanina kasi when we were
Yeah,
discussing, no?
yun nga.
Congratulations. Imagine naman,
Congratulations,
30
sabi niya sa
years.
akin, more power. Salamat po, salamat po.
Congratulations yan,
Oh,
officially as a lawyer na, as a solicitor. No? Dahil prior to that, may
yeah.
studies, ano, so more than 30 years yan. Yung 30 is the time na sinabi ng UK government, ikaw ay inihirang naming abogado na. Yan, kasama ka na sa role.
Abogado na. Yeah.
Oo.
Yes, it's, yun na nga. It's astonishing. Oh,
Direct,
salamat,
mukha
May.
yatang hindi...
Congratulations, sabi
Oh,
niya.
yes, salamat. Okay, alright. Sige, tuloy-tuloy natin yan. Sino pa? Go, go, go. Oh, ayan. Sino
Rudy.
yan?
The Libro,
Oh,
the
Rudy
Libro
Libro.
clan. Magandang gabi ng masayang Thursday. Gabi ng kaalaman. Congratulations. Yeah. Elegant and lovely
Tagalog
Attorney
eh.
Lira and very slim. Tama siya. Very slim legend. Sir Sonny and super Sir Edgar and direct cum laude. Lovely Paula and all happy viewers in the Team Libro.
Mabuhay kayo, ha?
Hi,
Libro
Rudy.
family, ha?
Yun
Yan.
nga.
Oh, hi. Okay. Uy, sino to?
Maris. Hello, Maris.
Maris
Yeah.
Mendez. Uy, Maris, mabuhay ka,
Mendez.
oh.
Yeah. Yeah, Maris.
Oo.
Good evening po, Attorney Lira and Kuya Sonny. Hi, Maris.
Yes.
Hope you
Hi,
well.
Maris, mabuhay ka, ha? Oo. Paki-share na lang to ating show para nang at least malaman nila, no? So, sino to? Si
Opo. Yeah.
Renato Gemma ba? Ano pangalan niya?
Yeah, Renato Gemma o
Ako
Gemma
Panda.
Renato. Ako Panda. Yeah. Hello
Ako
po, Kuya
Panda.
Sonny and
Bago yan,
Attorney
ha?
Lira. God bless po. From South End on Sea.
Oh,
Wow.
sana na
End
si
on
mabuhay,
Sea.
ha? Thank you, ha? Thanks for letting us know na at least, di ba, may taga South End on Sea, no? So, siguro,
Wow.
Gemma yung wife ni Renato ni Rene, no? Ayan, South End on Sea. No? Hopefully, mapunta
Yeah.
ako na magkita
Lovely.
tayo, ha? Oy, si Marilyn Jones ulit. Congratulate ka.
Yeah. Congratulations, Attorney. What an achievement, and still going strong. No, it's look, it's they always say, if you're passionate about what you do, it's much easier, no? It's
When you love
so
your
yeah,
job,
no, it's
di ba?
absolutely.
You're
Yun na
like
nga.
you're
It's
enjoying. You're not really playing, but you're like playing na rin. Sabihin na lang natin. But if you are working in a job that you don't want, ano yan eh, struggle din yan. No? Kaya parang ano yan, di ba? Hindi ka comfortable.
yeah,
Para lang you're just doing
yeah,
it for
yun
the
na nga.
money. No? But if you love it, di ba? Mas maganda yung passionate ka and you enjoy it. Tama yan. Congratulations. Ngayon, ano yan? Po, 200 na ang, ano yan?
Ngayon po, 200 ng English. May, tama ka nga. No, before, of course, there was no English test. Tapos, when they introduced it, I think it was only 50 pounds. Ngayon, then it increased to 150. Ngayon, 200 na ba? Wow, 200 pounds. Bigat na, no?
200 na. Wow,
English
200
test.
no? Okay. Ayan.
Yeah.
Sino naman to? Dalawa ba?
Patas.
Okay. Cora Carzola o si Ma'am Cora? Okay.
Sa Ma'am Cora,
Ayan.
congratulations ulit. Congratulations, Attorney Lira, for 30 years working for all of us over the world. Oh, salamat po. Mabuhay po kayo.
Oh, mabuhay ka rin, ha?
Salamat
Ingat, ha?
po.
Bon voyage, ha? Hopefully, we see each other itong weekend na to, no? Para, ano?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ingat
All right.
ka.
Sige. Edgar Duway.
Oh, si Edgar. Hi, Edgar.
Ito ba, last to? May isa pa.
Buenasera.
Direct. Okay. Buenasera. Okay. Buenasera. Italia?
Yeah, Buenasera. Magandang gabi.
Sige.
Attorney Astonishing Lira and sexy
Wow.
golden voice of media, Sonny
Wow.
L. And to the lovely multi-medalist, cum laude of Bulacan, Pau Pau. Walang poknat na, taga-subaybay ng palatuntunan, hitik na hitik sa karunungan.
Nako,
Happy Thursday and be
Happy
ready.
Thursday.
Dagdag kalaman night. Yeah. Mabuhay tayong lahat. Career visa, interesting. Care visa. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Career
si
visa,
Edgar,
interesting.
I'm always astonished nga. Siya ang, yung nga, last week sabi natin.
Hindi ako, bilib ako dyan.
malalim na
Saludo ako
sila.
dyan. Saludo ako kay
Yeah,
Edgar dahil
he
maraming
is
ano yan, maraming
astonishing.
talent yan, what he wants to to learn, he will learn, no. Ayan, sino pa susunod yan, direct
Yeah. Oh,
sino
si
to?
Miss Bolena. Hi, yeah, so si Miss Bolena. Zena Reyes Bolena. Hi,
Oh.
Attorney Lira and Sir Sonny. Good evening po. Hi, Miss Bolena. Can you call me?
Hi, Sena Reyes Bolena, no? Okay. Mabuhay ka, mabuhay, mabuhay. Ayan,
So,
ito,
si
oh,
Edgar. Yeah, romantic ka
ano,
talaga,
romantic.
Attorney LC. Cute mo. Yeah, mabuhay ka. Oh, salamat po, salamat. Look,
Oh,
it's easy nga. So, wow, 30 years of lovely experience. Proof that you're the best of the best in the business. Congrats. Wow. May Edgar, ikaw
wow,
naman.
okay, ang galing naman.
He's
Okay, ang
it's
sweet
siya,
naman.
he's just one person nga in that because the 30 years also includes of course yung experience natin, Sony, dahil inumpisa mo to because of lockdown, di ba? And so to be part of this now, I will never get this. I would never have got this opportunity if it were not to in the career path that I've chosen. So it's exciting, and this of course wouldn't have been possible 30 years ago, no? Because internet ring, di pa usong internet. Actually, I don't think there was internet 30 years ago.
Pero attorney, correction lang ng konti doon, ha. Kasi we were still talking this sa opisina mo. Tapos, di ba, when we were talking about the show, and then eventually, pandemic set in. Pero, sabagay, talagang nagano na siya nung pandemic niya. Pero yeah, 30 years, imagine mo, kamangha-mangha, it's been parang, parang kailan lang, no? But you remember, parang kumbaga iba, yung mga memories mo, yung experiences mo, interacting with our kababayans, going through, it's nice to know, going through yung mga changes sa immigration, di ba? Parang, ano, di ba? Parang, marami kang wealth of experience kasi there have been so many changes, and you've been through them all. And those changes have been applied to our kababayans, di ba? Who were in a way, whatever in whatever shape or form that they were trying to how do you call that? Yung kanilang stay to legalize their stay, di ba? Or regularize their stay or
Yeah.
whatever, di ba? So yeah, maganda, exciting yan. Okay, so yung magtatanong mamaya, yung tanong na naisip flash natin attorney, mamaya na pagkatapos itong topic na di-discuss ni attorney, no. In the meantime, we're gonna have a short break and quickly we'll go straight into the topic for tonight, no. Caterers, anong topic natin? Caterer. Ayan, caterer visa, 6 months on. Ayan, dahil ka dati excited ka nun, malalabas na ngayon, lumabas na, kaya 6 months on. Okay, huwag ko kayong alis, kami po ni Attorney Lira ay magbabalik saglit po lamang.
Mula noon hanggang ngayon, serbisyong mapagkakatiwalaan, serbisyong maaasahan pagdating sa inyong mga padalang balikbayan boxes. Dito ka na sa Forex Cargo. Sa presyong kayang-kaya ng bulsa, sigurado ka pa sa inyong padala. Forex Cargo. Dahil kailangan makarating. Call 0208-813-7064. O, ano pang inaantay niyo mga kabayan? Tayo na sa Forex Cargo.
%, all natural, tasty, healthy, versatile, 4 unique flavors. Taste a real sauce. Galettos.
Mula sa kabisera ng Inglaterra, sa puso ng Britanya, London, UK. London, UK. Ito ang Channel Philippines Network, Pinoy Radio UK. Pinoy Radio UK. Sumasahing papawid, 24 oras. 24 oras. Buong linggo. Sa www.pinoyradiouk.com. Ang mga pinakapaborito mga awitin, mga pinakaabangang programa, at mga sariwang balita at impormasyon mula at para sa mga kababayang Pilipino sa UK at sa buong mundo. Pinoy Radio UK. Pinoy Radio UK.
Okay, tuloy-tuloy ho tayo. Balik ho tayo sa ating programa. Ito po yung Immigration Corner on a Happy Thursday. Ako po si Sonny Laragan. At kasama natin, diretso na kagad tayo sa ating pinakamamahal na abogada, no? Eksperto ho sa immigration. Walang iba kundi si Attorney Lira Simon-CABATBAT. Happy Thursday once again, Attorney.
Happy Thursday, Sonny. Happy Thursday po sa inyong lahat. Excited about the topic today.
Topic and happy anniversary bago kayo launch ito. Sige, go. Attorney, sige, para maano tayo. Sige, go sa topic.
Okay, ito pong topic natin ngayon. I'm excited about it, no? Carer visa 6 months on. 6 months ago, pinag-usapan nga natin to, and you probably don't remember. I was thrilled, no? And I was so excited nga to impart the news that finally kasama na yung carer visa. Now, it's 6 months later. That was on the so inintroduce nila nung 16th of February 2022. So 6 months ago, a little over 6 months ago. So now 6 months later, ano na bang nangyari? No, and also what are the if there are any changes? Now, so it's unang-una po. Just so kung bago kayo nanonood nga yung carer visa 16 February in-introduce nila, and so it will end 1 year lang sabi nila muna, no? It could be that they change it, but at the moment hindi pa nga. It will end on the 16th of February 2023. So although we're 6 months into it, it also means we only have 6 months to go. So ibig sabihin, kung interesado po kayo, you must get a move on. Okay? So tingnan muna natin yung mga conditions. So at the moment, as before, kung sino man papasok dito, kung nandito na nga, ang kailangan nilang pakita, kailangan sila makakuha ng 70 points po. 70 points. Because it's an application under the skilled worker route, which is under this umbrella of the points-based system. So basically points, no? So you need to accumulate no less than 70 points. Now, unang-una, how do you get the 70 points? So as before, you need a job. Okay? So yun ang una po. Kailangan yung trabaho dito dahil kailangan yung tawag COS, that's Certificate of Sponsorship. Kung magagaling kayo sa Pilipinas o kahit sa labas ng UK, then the cost na kailangan yung tawag doon ay defined cost. Yeah? Kung nandito na nga kayo, so sabihin natin estudyante kayo dito, gusto niyo palitan yung visa nyo, then it would be an undefined cost. Yeah? Pero yung employer nyo, sino man ang pagtatrabahuhan nyo, kailangan meron silang lisensya. It's called a sponsorship license. And they must be category A, sponsorship license. So yun po unang-unang kailangan yung tignan. So kung meron kayong job offer, so you have what's called a cost certificate of sponsorship nga, then ibig sabihin you get the 20 points already. 20 points po, no? So 20 points out of the 70 points. Now, then the next thing is yung skill set nyo. Meron ba kayong, you have the experience. Now, the good thing with the carer visa, and this is partly what gets me always excited whenever I think about this, is carer visas, no, carer and home carers. It is, kung titingnan yung code, yung immigration code, it is number 6145. Now, I'll just read to you very briefly anong ibig sabihin, how they define the job description for carers. So this is from the Home Office website. So sabi dito, care workers and home carers attend to the personal needs and comforts of the elderly and infirm with care and support, no? Within residential care establishments, daycare establishments, or in their own homes. So it's quite wide. Now, entry requirements, what are skills? You don't need formal qualifications, formal academic qualifications, unlike, for example, nurses, no? Hindi nyo kailangan. So, pero of course, kailangan yung experience. Otherwise, you're not going to get a job offer nga dito, no? So, you don't need formal qualifications. So, it is open to many, many more people. Yun nga, no? So, if you have the skill set, no? So you have a job offer and you have the skill set. Skill set means you get another 20 points. No? So if you come under the 6145, no, yung entry requirement. So that's another 20 points nga. Now, then you get another 10 points, no, for English. Now, ang English po, level nila, it's B1 level. So it's not like it's not, mas mataas dun sa A1, kung papasok nga kayo sa spouse, pero mas mababa dun sa, say, sa the nursing qualifications, the IELTS nga, where you need a band 7 for I think that's actually changed now, but they would need a band 7. Hindi po yun. B1 is the same level as, say, kung kukuha kayo ng naturalization dito or indefinite leave to remain, yung B1, yun ang pong level. So, pero kung nasa inyo na yung makakuha yun nun, then so that's another 10 points, no? So 50 points na. So as I say, 20 points po, job offer, cost. 20 points yung skills niyo if you have the experience, then that's also 20 points nga. And then 10 points yung English. Now, kulang pa yung 20 points. And this is the great thing about the introduction of the carer visa within the shortage occupation list. Yun ang nangyari on the 16th of February 2022. They introduced carers as part of the shortage occupation list. Because it's part of the shortage occupation list, you get the extra 20 points immediately. That you are coming in to do a job that is under the shortage occupation list. And that gives you the last 20 points. Now, of course, there are things now on top of that that are not that does not give you points, but you still need to satisfy it. And for example, yung income, because there's a minimum income level which for carers is 20,480 pounds. Okay, be careful because that's quite a strict requirement, the issue of the income. So kung 0 working hours, hindi po pwede, no? So you need to be careful. Now, sabihin natin nakakuha na kayo ng you satisfy all the points, you're okay now with the income. What visa will you get? The visa can be 3 years usually, or sometimes 5 years. No, it depends really on the employer how long the course is for. On top of that, under the carer visa, like nurses nga, like senior care workers, pwedeng yung dalhin yung pamilya nyo dito. Asawa at saka mga anak under the age of 18. Kung may edad na sila over 18, I'm afraid that's a problem. No? Dahil nga, although they're still part of your household, they're no longer regarded as dependent dito because the cutoff age dito is 18 po eh. So, but you can bring your husband, your wife nga in the UK, and certainly children. At saka yung mga asawa nyo, pagka nandito na nga sila, pwede sila magtrabaho. Wala pong limit. No? So you're not looking at, like you, kailangan trabaho nyo, you need to be a carer, you need to be, of course, working for that employer na papasukan nyo nga dito. Sila, kahit, no, kung marami silang part-time, gusto nyo mag-aral, at saka magtrabaho, hindi nga din problema, o wala. That's okay too, no? So it is, it's quite a generous visa. Now, on top of that, just make it even better. Pagka nandito na kayong 5 taon, lahat kayo, pwede na kayo magpasok ng application for indefinite leave to remain, settlement status. No? So, it's no wonder, truly, that it's been such a popular visa. At the moment, I did try to find it. No, I couldn't find any statistics how many people have actually made use of the care visa in the last 6 months. But I'm sure it's something that the Home Office will no doubt publish sometime. So I don't know how popular it's been, how quickly also they've been able to implement it. Dahil ang problema niya sa Home Office, ang bagal nila, no? So kung hindi pa nga talaga nagamit, and care homes at the moment are still desperate for carers nga, then it could be na dadagdagan nila, so it's hopefully beyond the 12-month period, so goes beyond February 2023. Pero hindi po nating alam, no? So kung kung interesado nga kayo, you must make a move now because it's only 6 months to go kung hindi nga nila i-extend. Now, but in the last 6 months, I've certainly also, there been downsides to this, no? Pagka nandito ng mga tao. There have also been upsides, but the downsides are the ones at least that I've come across who've had difficulties nandito sila, dumating nga sila dito. Tapos nalaman nila nung dumating sila dito na iba nga ang trabaho, no? Iba nga ang mga conditions. So the things that I come across, unfortunately, is yung breach of contract terms. So ang sabi, ang bayad ito, hindi naman, no? O babayaran sila para sa holiday, bank holiday, hindi naman, no? Unpaid wages, for example, no? And when you total it up, their income is far less than the minimum wage, no? Also, the way that that they're not really paid properly. So also, it's people being forced to take up car leases, no? Dahil kailangan nila magmaneho to different clients. But even though hindi nga nila kotse yun, hindi naman nila, they're only using it really for work, no? Yung mga employer sabi na, oh, no, you have to lease it. So silang nagbabayad. So although the income may be okay, no, 20,480, ang problema ay kinakaltas nga yung pagbayad sa kotse, which means na konti nga lang natitira. So that's also fairly common. So I mean, it's difficult to see at the moment. How can you can avoid those? I mean, what you can do, of course, is pagka meron na kayong letter of offer, bibigyan nga kayo, no, kailangan nyo nga yun para sa home office nga din o yung employer nyo. Makikita nyo naman doon yung basic terms, no? Anong anong income nyo, is accommodation included, no? Anything like that. Pagka nandito na kayo, kung hindi kayo bigyan mo ng kontrata, pagka nandito na kayo, compare it, ha? Yung offer or letter of offer against the contract na binigay nila nga dito. Kung hindi magkatugma, raise it with them. Okay? It's better to raise it in the beginning rather than late on. Now, kung masamang-masama ang trato sa inyo and you can't bear it anymore and it's just getting worse, for example, and unfortunately, I've also had clients nga na yung ang nangyari nga sa kanila, you can swap. Okay? So, yung nga lang, kailangan maghanap ng panibagong trabaho na meron din silang sponsorship license. So, in that case, you swap it over to an undefined cost, basically. So, kung mabigyan nga kayong panibagong trabaho dito, then you can simply continue working as a skilled worker, as of course, as a carer nga dito sa United Kingdom. And yung, kung meron kayong pamilya, then of course, sila nga din. Yeah? Don't forget, they also need to, of course, you need to also inform the home office nga that the change in your circumstances, no? Kasama nga sila, no? So you need so it's not just merely informing them, kailangan yung panibago. So it's not a question of swapping or exchanging, or it's not a question of exchanging easily. Kailangan yung panibago. You actually need a new cost, no? So don't assume na okay, dudugtong nyo nga lang yung trabaho nyo nga, yung panibagong trabaho. Hindi po, bawal po yun. Kailangan yung panibagong certificate of sponsorship. But the good news is, in the main, my clients are happy, nandito sila, no, pamilya nga nandito, o naiwan muna, kinukuha nga nila pamilya nga nila dito. So it's hopefully going to work out nga. Kalimang taon na kayo dito on that type of visa, pwede kayo magpasok ng application for indefinite leave to remain, which of course settlement status. And then a year after that, subject of course to any absences, pwede na kayo magpasok ng naturalization leading to British passport. Kung kasama niyo mga kapamilya nyo, when you enter the UK, 5 taon na din nga sila, then they too will be entitled. So you can then stay in the United Kingdom as a family, and that's great, isn't it? So hopefully they extend it, but kung hindi nila, just in case hindi nila extend, interesado kayo, start it now.
Okay, so yeah. 1 year, sabi mo February next year, no? So 1 year yata yan, di ba? Ang ano. So 31st anniversary mo yun, attorney.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, yeah.
Oh, so so while celebrating your 31st year in service to the Filipinos in the field of immigration, you will be updating us if they have extended or not, no? So, ayan. So, pwede pala. Ibig sabihin, you're not happy with your job, siguro, yung mga trabaho mo, hindi mo gusto, you're not fairly treated. So, you will have, are you saying that you can go looking for another nursing home Tapos, so long as meron silang license, how do you call that? Yung they can recruit ba? What was the word that you said?
Yeah. No, tama ka, Sonny. So, kung di nga kayo, no, kung di kayo masaya doon, o kaya yung, ang experience ko, frankly, mga tao, kung masaya, okay naman sila, maganda naman trato, they don't move, because it's a bit of a fuss, no? Dahil kailangan mo panibagong, at least, panibagong cost. But, of course, kung masamang trato nga sa inyo, no, hindi kayo binabayarang mahusto, gano'n, wala kayong pahinga, then, yeah, pwedeng yung palitan. So, I actually, it's a good point, Sonny, dahil nga, I experience a lot of people saying, sinasabi mga employer nila, o papabalikin namin kayo, no? There's no choice in the matter. Hindi po yung pwede, no? Yung nga lang, of course, kailangan may sasalunga sa inyo, no? So, kung di na kayo happy dun sa trabaho nyo, start looking. And there's so many jobs out there, no? Looking for carers na may lisensya nga. So no, you don't have to put up nga with bad treatment. So
Yeah,
you
but
can.
yeah. But before you do so, start hunting for a licensed, yung may license na company, no? Para nang sa ganun, yun nga. Kasi kung sakaling attorney, kung hindi nila nagawa yun, talaga mapapabalik sila, no? Technically, na kumbaga wala silang opportunity dahil they weren't able to strategize, di ba? Tama ba yun?
Tama.
Kasi
Tama
yun ang
ka,
kailangan,
no?
di ba?
I mean,
You're saying hindi
yeah,
pwede.
no,
Sabi mo, hindi pwede kung nagawa nila ng paraan. Pero kung wala silang nagawang paraan, talagang wala silang choice, mapapawi sila, di ba? Tama ba?
yes, no, tama ka. So, yung sabi mo, strategize, no? So, huwag kayong basta-bastang aalis, no? Dahil kailangan nga may sasalunga sa inyo. And these things also take time, ha? Because it could also be na gusto nilang reference galing sa employer, hindi kayo bigyan ng reference, no? So, siguraduhin yung meron kayong trabaho. Dahil tama ka, Sonny. Kung wala kayong
Yes.
trabaho, walang
Tama.
sasalo sa inyo, yeah, papalitan kayo.
Mapapawi.
Sayang
So,
lang.
so if they threaten you na pauwi ka namin, talaga mapapawi ka nila dahil wala ka ng fallback position eh. Wala ka ng fallback eh. Okay. Attorney, let's go straight to the questions. Direct, tama ba? Ready na? Pwede na
Sure.
yun? Okay, sige. First question from our viewers. Sino yan? Si Juan, ano yan?
Oh, Jean Odtahan.
Jean, sorry. Juan tuloy.
Oh,
Jean.
Jean.
Hindi ko pa kaysa.
Jean.
Jean.
So,
Okay. Sige.
Odtahan daw. So,
Attorney.
hello po.
Odtahan.
May random
Odtahan.
interview po. May random interview po sa 14 years old applying for settlement coming to the UK. British citizen po ang nanay. Thank you po. So, may random interview po sa 14-year-old.
Random
Okay.
interview.
Applying for settlement.
Sa Pilipinas ba yan?
Okay.
Sa Pilipinas?
Yeah, sa Pilipinas. Now, ito, things to be aware of, Gino, Pasamoto. They are clearly looking at one main thing, and that is the sole responsibility, no? So, I'm guessing, hindi ko nga alam, but I'm guessing na yung bata nga, wala yung tatay, o wala nga yung tatay, no? So, they will want their checking kung talagang walang pakialam nga yung tatay. So, 14 years old nga yung bata, they will probably have an interpreter kung kailangan niya interpreter doon. But the focus of my question, I would imagine, is the sole responsibility issue. So,
56.
yeah. So, make sure nga na yung bata nga ay handa siya kung tanungin nga siya nasa ng tatay, kung wala namang pakialam tatay, na sabihin nga niya na yung nga na walang pakialam tatay, kailan sila nagkita, no? Nagpapadala ba yung tatay kung wala dito, kung nasa ibang bansa o nasa living somewhere else. So that, I suspect, is why he or she is being interviewed, no? It's sole responsibility, and that is, I would say, 90% ang rason for refusals. So be careful.
Ayan, may sinasabi ka, attorney dyan, no, na papag-usapan natin na they have to be careful, not, for example, kung nasa lola, kunyari, halimbawa, or tita, or whoever, na huwag sabihin, ano yung word na yun, yung guardian, because that would, that would work against them, no? So parang kailangan talaga wag masabi na yung anak nila, o kasi sinasabi mo, you might suspect them, they wanted to prove na wala na sa yung sole responsibility, di ba? Wala na sa father. Ganon, di ba? Kung yung mother kasi British na eh. and she would like to get her 14-year-old dependent. Tama yan, before 18. Kaso, yun nga,
Yeah.
kung hindi na sabing guardian ng lola, more or less, okay lang, no? Wala problema. As long as ma-prove niya yung sole responsibility ng mother na British.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually picking up on that, Sonny, tama ka, no? Dahil, of course, sole responsibility, hindi lang ibig sabihin magulang, no? They can also say, or the home office can also say, you don't actually have sole responsibility, that you have given, no, the parental responsibility sa lola, o sa lolo, o sa auntie, no? So, sabihin ng bata nga, so tanong yung bata, so sinong nag-aalaga sa'yo? Sabihin niya, lola ko po, no? So kung may sakit ka, sinong titingin nga sa'yo? So do you approach? Sinong magdadala sa'yo? Ang lola ko po, no? So sinong nagsusustento sa'yo? Ang lola ko po, no? Dahil hindi nga niya alam na yung pera nang gagaling sa nanay o tatay dito, napupunta sa lola. So that can also mean, no, a refusal. Pwedeng sabihin ng home office, well, okay, wala na nga tatay, we accept that, o walang nanay, we accept that, but we think now that you are sharing the parental responsibility with the lola or the auntie, no? It still means refusal. So it's a good point. The sole responsibility is not absolutely to yung sa magulang lang. It could also mean lola, auntie, no, lolo, no, or anyone else, frankly. Yeah, no.
Okay, so this ano no, mas makabubuti kung merong advice ng isang solicitor. Halimbawa, katulad mo, no? Because you can, yeah, so diyan parang dapat, are you saying na yung bata dapat properly coached maski paano? Kasi okay, you might have, while the application was made by the mom, by way of the statements or whatever, they were able to word it in such a way saying that yun nga, may sole responsibility, so on and so forth, no? So hindi guardian ng lola or whatever. Pero yun nga, baka sumabit sa bata. Ang bata ba, itong case nitong bata na to, should she be properly coached or taught or advised kung anong dapat niya sabihin?
Well, coach not, dahil nga, it's, kailangan niya she needs to tell the truth, no? But yung nga lang, what sometimes happens is, yung matatanda nga, nanay, no? Mga abogado, sino man, lola, lolo, they prepare everything, no? Hindi alam ng bata kung ano nga anong pinasok, no? 14 years old na nga yung bata ngayon, you need to talk to them. Kailangan niya sabihin, okay, itong interview, ito sigurong gusto nang malaman. So, talk, I mean, it's also a question of, they must tell the truth, absolutely, no? Yung nga lang, they also need to know, they need to be, they need to also
aware.
be told, okay, ito nga siguro, made aware of what likely is to be asked. So, hindi sila ganong nervous nga din, ano? So, and I suppose, prepare themselves. So, kung tatanungin sila, I mean, prime example is this, no? Meron akong kliyente, this is a few years back na yung tatay, talagang walang pakialam, no? May panibago ng pamilya sa atin nga din, hindi sila nagkikita, sometimes kinakamusta siya pagka Christmas o birthday niya, yun lang. Otherwise, nanay nga lang. And nanay nandito, siya lahat siya. Nung in-interview siya, no? Nahiya yung bata. At least this was what I got afterwards. Nahiya nga daw siya, so, nung tinanong siya, so, ang tatay mo, nasaan ang tatay mo? So, binigay nga yung address. Nakikita ba kayo? Sabi niya, oh yes! Nakikita kami ang tatay. It's last week, no, we, nag-shopping nga kami. Gustong-gusto niya ako. Gustong-gusto niya ako. Mahal na mahal niya ako. Dahil ayaw nga sabihin, ayaw aminin na wala siyang contact, no, sa tatay. And the boy was, he was a proud boy, teenager,
okay.
no? So, na-refuse yung application, no? And
Wow.
that's heartbreaking. Dahil nga, had they just told him na huwag kang mahiya, sabihin mo nga yung totoo, na talagang wala nga siyang pakialam sa'yo, huwag kang mahiya, no? Had they just told him that, he would have been fine. But yung bata nga, no, he was, he was a proud boy, you know? And so, yeah, so he
Pero
had a
attorney,
refusal.
ang mga ganyan, yung mga interviewing, how do you call them? Consuls or mga interviewing mga psychologists yan eh. They would, I don't know, they would come up with some questions na parang making you feel at ease. Hindi mo alam, nagre-reveal ka na ng mga bagay-bagay. So in a way, I think diba, the kids or whoever, diba, must be properly told na, oh, maging tapat ka. Baka mahiya ka mamaya, baka sabihin mo, kala mo, yung gusto mong palabasin na okay kayo ng daddy mo, mommy mo, as the case may be, kung di naman nag-a-apply, huwag kang mahiya. Ganon, sabihin mo totoo, hindi na kayo nakikita. That should have been
Yeah.
told at the outset para at least, kasi anak ha, we'll have to establish dito na talaga, siya kang totoo naman, si daddy mo, di naman talaga may bago na eh, mga ganon, may iba na. So, gusto ko dandalin dito. Sa bagay, alam naman siguro ng bata yan. No? But yun sa akin lang is do you, with your clients, for example, to client mo to, ayaw niyang nakakahiyang pakinggan na wala yung father or something, no? So, sinabi lang niya, although di pala nakikita. So, what was your advice noon? Sinabihan mo ba na sabihan niyo o pinabayaan niyo lang?
Yeah, no,
Prior
I
to
mean,
going into the
the thing,
interview.
yeah, well, I was, yeah, it was a bit sad nga, no? Dahil nga, it's, I just, as usual, whenever I have these types of cases nga, even years ago, unang sinasabi ko sa kanya, kailangan nyo kausapin nga yung bata. You need to prepare them, and also, so that hindi nga sila natatakot, huwag silang mahiya, no? But sometimes nga, people don't bother, no? Dahil, I mean, partly dahil nga bata pa, I'm not really sure why it was not conveyed. So anyway, so yeah, it became a problem. It was okay in the end. We
Okay.
successfully
Ayun, ayun, good.
appealed, no? But
Okay.
we had to
Kaya lang
appeal
umaba.
because we had a refusal.
Oo.
Yeah, yung nga.
Oo.
And so it's not been it was quite and at that point nung refuse nga yung bata, dahil alam nga niya na yung nga ang dahilan, he felt so bad, he felt so guilty, no? Na yung nga ang nangyari. And so he, no, sa kanya, he was
Pe-
very
pe-
he was very upset,
pe-
no?
Pero attorney, you felt you had a very strong case noon. Prior to the interview, at the outset, na-establish mo na by interviewing the mom and somehow finding out the circumstances na talagang wala nang talagang contact ng lalaki o yung tatay, wala nang pakialam. So yung feeling mo, malakas na talagang case ninyo. Kumbaga, okay na. Maganda. She had all the requirements, probably money, accommodation, kompleto na. And you felt na malakas yung case. Except, yun lang, nagkaroon ng bubu, no? Nagkaroon ng konti na sumabit.
Yun lang.
So yeah, you felt preparado na. Ibig sabihin, papers, statements, accommodation, finances, I mean, income to show that there's, okay na lahat yun, no? Yun lang ang sumabit.
Yeah, and yun lang naging problema. And look, tayo, we are proud people, no? And it's something nga na kahit bata ka pa, it's something we I think we're kind of brought up with, no? Na of course, no? In the you ayaw mong ayaw mong makita kang pulubi o kaya kailangan mong tulong, no? We are a proud people, and yung nga lang, you just need to make sure na they're ready. At saka also, yung sinasabi mo kanina, nahihiya yung bata, no? Kung hindi niya maintindihan yung tanong, and it's something again that I come across all the time, we're too proud again, and too shy to say, sorry, hindi ko po naintindihan. Pwede ba sabihin niyo ulit? Can you repeat? No? So, I've also had clients nga who've been interviewed, yung mga bata nga, especially na, they just agree, no? Kahit hindi nga nila naintindihan yung question, because they don't want to offend, they don't want to ask again. Hindi nga, that they didn't quite understand, no? And then on top of that, kung tawagan nga kayo, sometimes they don't give a time kung kailan sila tatawag, o kaya they call late or they call too early. Kung hindi kayo ready, nasa labas kayo, don't take that. Sabihin nyo, look, can you call me back in about 30 minutes, no? Kailangan nyo, you need a quiet place. So, marinig nyo sila maigi, no? So, huwag kayong mahiya. It's importante ito. So, you need to be able to understand and properly communicate yung sagot nyo po, no? So, so don't be shy to say, sorry, maingat po, maingay nga ngayon, no? So, can you call back in about 30 minutes, please, no? Especially kung hindi naman sila on time. But of course, kung meron nga time, then just make sure na ready ka, no? Na nasa loob ka nga, na you're not on the bus. So, baka hindi mo sila maintindihan. Dahil maingay.
Quick question lang, bago tayo sa second question, no? Okay, one of the ikababagsak hindi mo naintindihan, nahihiya silang, ako, lalo na yung mga nagtatanong dun, British accent yan, di ba? Sa ano, hindi naman Filipino na empleyado na magtatanong, hindi naman sabi ng British o Filipino, liga, para at least ang English mo nasasakyan ito. Ikaw magtanong, hindi naman ganun yung British ang magtatanong sa bata, di ba? So hindi niya naintindihan. Pag nagdala na interpreter, sino magbabayad? Nagpo-provide ba ang British Embassy Manila o ikaw ang magdala ng interpreter mo? And then you tell them na I'm gonna bring my tita o whoever ganyan to interpret on my behalf. May mga cases ba ganyan, Dorny?
Libre yung interpreter, no? Libre. So,
so sasabihin mo.
Yeah. And
okay,
interviews
good.
are now conducted by phone, no?
By phone.
I don't think by phone. I've not experienced from my clients na an interview that's been conducted, from outside the UK, no? That's been conducted personally for the last siguro three, maybe even 4 years. They call you, no? So pagka tinawagan kayo, you should, when you know, pagka sinabi nila you're going to be interviewed, kung kailangan yung interpreter, so sagutin nyo sila, sabihin mo, can they make sure please may interpreter nga? Tsaka siguraduhin nyo, kung hindi nga Tagalog, Ilocanong kailangan nyo, lagay nyo doon, no? So kailangan nyo English Ilocano, o kaya English Bisaya, no? Kung hindi nga Tagalog. Because you'll find that mainly, ang ibibigay nila sa'yo Tagalog. If you can't speak Tagalog, then that's not much good, no?
Pero is that done on the day itself, attorney, or beforehand? Is that done on the day itself? Tumawag sa'yo. Tumawag. Or yung appointment ba ng tawag, kumbaga, pre-arrange na o naka-schedule na, ganun? Ganun ba?
Oh, sorry, yeah. No. It's, they don't, they should give you notice, no?
Notice, okay.
No, not just me. So when they give you notice, so when they text you, they say, okay, we would like to have a telephone interview with you on so-and-so date. Text them back,
okay,
to say, that's fine, but please, may I have an interpreter.
Ayun,
no?
Okay.
And nandun din sa application form yun. But sometimes hindi nila tinitik ng migi. So just reiterate, no, kailangan mo ng interpreter kung kailangan mo ng interpreter, no?
Okay. Palagay ko, dapat kumuha ng interpreter para at least makatulong din, no? Alright. Sige, ito na yung ating next question. Sige, final question for the night. Sino yan?
So, si Janine Amurao. Student.
Janine?
Yeah. Amurao.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sige, go ahead,
student visa holder po ako. Yeah, so student visa holder po ako ngayon sa UK. Possible po bang mag-switch into a care visa? Yes, Janine, you can. As long as not one of those short student visas, no? Short is 3 months. If you're a student here, long-term student nga visa mo, you can. Now, actually, I'll give you a list of people who cannot switch. Okay, so visit visa, hindi pwede to switch. Short-term student visa, as I say, 3 months, for example, hindi pwede. Parent of a child student visa, hindi din pwede. Seasonal worker visa, so for example, for agriculture, hindi din pwede. Domestic worker visa, hindi po pwede, unfortunately. Someone on immigration bail, hindi din pwede. Or someone who has permission to stay in the UK from outside the immigration rules, so compassionate circumstances, for example, no, hindi din pwede. You can't switch, but everyone else can, no. So Janine, kung estudyante ka dito, long-term student ka dito, pwede.
Okay, all right. Attorney, okay. So, yun ang mga in-outline mo na ano, ng mga hindi pa pwede, no? So, pwede siya, student visa. When you say long, hindi short term, 3 months, sabi mo, anong long term? Ano mo, 1 year, 2 years? Ano bang long term na ano?
Yeah. Most people come who come to study here do so on a long-term visa, minimum nga 12 months to the whole term, no?
Yun. Okay, so minimum 12 months.
No,
Okay,
yeah,
so,
so
right.
yun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Pinag-define ko
yeah.
lang sa'yo kasi
So, kung
kanina,
nandito ka,
yeah. Go ahead. Kung saan nandito, kasi hindi mo dinefine kanina, you just said short term and 3 months and then you didn't mention about the long term. Kung ano ba ang minimum niya, kunyari 12 months or ano. So, ayan. Oh, okay. So, kung 12 months siya, more than 12 months, okay siya. She can change. Tama. Okay. Attorney, may mga tao sinasabi, pupunta ako sa UK on a visa, on a business visa. There's no such a thing as a business visa, di ba? O meron? Wala,
it's
di
the
ba?
same. It's the
As
same
visit
as business
visa?
visa. Yeah. Business. So visit visa can be business. It can be medical. It can be marriage. No. So same as visit.
Visit lang, no? So okay, they cannot just say na, oh, I'm going to the UK on a visit visa, on a business visa. Although it might be that, pero there's no such thing as a business visa in itself. This is lumped together into visit visa, di ba? Marriage, on a tour, or visit, or business, no? So walang business visa. Visit visa lang, yun yun. Tama,
Yeah.
attorney, di ba?
It's a type
Okay, all
of.
right.
Tama.
Okay. Lump together yun, magkakasama. Alright. Sige, well, may pagbati before we say goodbye. Sino pagbati yan?
Si Marian.
Okay.
Marian Galicia Paner. I'm doing well, thank you. Oh, I'm pleased to hear it, Miss Paner. Nice of you always to
Okay.
join us. No, always a pleasure. I get worried when you don't message.
Oh,
So.
oo nga, syempre, no? Ngumusta pagka ganyan, no? Bon ba yan? Okay. Mabati
Yeah,
kay Ma'am
bon
Cora.
voyage, Ma'am Persola. Yeah.
Bon voyage.
Ingat po kayo lagi. Tama.
Ayan. Uy, ba? Alright. Sino to? Lorraine Cantos.
Lorraine.
Sino yan?
Yeah. Lorraine Cantos. Good evening. Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening po, everyone. Hi,
Taga saan ka,
Lorraine.
Lorraine, no? So, Lorraine Cantos, bago ba yan? Si Lorraine Cantos? Okay.
No.
Ayan. Yun na ba yan? Direct? Okay na yan. Okay. Alright.
Oh.
So, sino ba? Isa pa?
Sandali.
Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa.
Oh, Lisa Red.
Lisa Red. Yeah, watching from Kent for the very first time. Wow.
Oh,
Welcome.
mabuhay, Lisa Red. How are you, Lisa Red? Is that your real surname, Red? No? Meron ka na mga director, mga alternative films, Ice Red ba? Nakalimutan ko na yung sa Red, no? Anyway, mabuhay, no? Mabuhay kayo. Thank you, Lisa. Paddy Arsenal. Yeah. Sige, Paddy
From
Arsenal.
Bicol. Hello, Sonny. From Bicol, kilala ka ba niya? Oh, Patty Arsenal. Hello, Sonny from Bicol. Bicol daw. Wow.
I don't know. I hope so. Magkakilala ba tayo? Magkaibigan ba tayo? I don't know. Pero, hello, mabuhay ka, Paddy, Arsenal ba surname? Arsenal? Sige.
Arsenal daw,
Sino to?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Arsenal. Paddy, mabuhay.
Jean.
Sige.
Yeah. So, Jean Refama Elliot. Good evening. Yeah. Sabi po niya, good evening, Sir Sonny, Attorney Lira, and Derek Pao. Have a lovely Thursday, and thank you for sharing informative topic every Thursday. Oh, it's my pleasure.
Oy, salamat din.
No?
Sweet naman. Parang sweet naman, no, Attorney. Parang tuloy, parang namang biglang, ang puso ko. Biglang naantig. Sabi, sweet naman, no? Okay, ano pa to? Sino to? Yeah, Attorney.
Jared.
Sino to? Joel.
Yeah, Jared Jonathan.
Jared Jonathan. Okay.
Jonathan, yeah. Hello po. Good evening. Good evening po. Good evening, Jared. O si Jonathan.
These are new names, ha?
Yeah.
Jonathan Jared or Jared Jonathan, no? Okay, wala tayo direct, no? Okay na yan? Okay, alright. So, ayan, okay. Naku, very interesting tong gabi na to. We were talking about your 30th anniversary, no? Ako naman, I quickly lang. I met this girl, kasi she was the singer of one of my bandmates a long time ago when I was young. So, mahilig ko sa ano. And then she turned out to be 40 years old, no? And she claims to be a broadcaster. Nasa broadcasting daw yata siya ngayon. Doing a show in one of the radio stations in Manila. And I said, 40 years old siya. I was a broadcaster more than 40 years ago. So, hindi pa siya pinapanganak. nasa media na ako back home in the Philippines, no? So, uh, yeah, more than 40 years din ako in the field of broadcasting, no, sa atin sa Pilipinas. Yeah, more than. So, yes, nakakatuwa. Ikaw, 30 sa, plus hindi pa kasama yung aral. Imagine mo, puro anniversary time nitong gabing to, attorney, yung anniversary mo, no? And next year, you will talk about, in February, about, sabi mo, 6 months on. Ang next episode yan, 1 year on. O, di ba? And then, at the same time, di ba, umiinom tayo na champagne, o kaya Prosecco, di ba?
Oo nga.
Alternative ngayon eh. Prosecco na, di ba? So, yeah, it's lovely. And then, you're now in the third generation. Oh, may mati pa. Oo, yan. Sige, ano yan,
Si
attorney?
Annalou.
Bati, basa lang.
Yes, so it's galing kay Annalou. Thanks, Attorney Lira, Kuya Sonny, Derek Powell. Very helpful. Thanks, Annalou. Ingat.
Yes, so yeah, and that's nice. It's very helpful, no? So yung mga information yan. Okay, well, I guess it's time for us to say goodbye, attorney. No, well, once again, congratulations sa yung 30 years. No, I don't know how you call 30 years. 25 is silver, 50 is golden. Mga ganyan eh. Pero hindi ko alam kung ano 30. Meron bang pangalan ng 30? Meron bang ano ba 30? Di ba?
Oh,
Pagbalik na lang natin.
I don't know.
We can-
Actually, 30 is okay, I can
Hindi
think
natin
about
alam,
the
no?
descriptions being
Sil-
30 years.
Oo nga, alam natin 25, 50, mga 60, 75, mga ganyan. Diamond yung 75, no? Pero ayan. But anyway, at least you've been in service of the Filipinos for the past 30 years, and we can glean from yung ano, no? You love it, you enjoy it. Tama nga, lalo na yung mga family reunions, di ba? I'd love to be there. Like I said, siguro ang bango-bango mo, attorney, no? Pag alam mo, oops, darating yata yung kailangan, bango tayo. Ay, ready na rin yung tissues, no? Yung mga pag nagpunas-punas tayo ng mga, either yung mata o yung ilong, no? Pag, di ba? So, di ba? Pag nailuluha ka rin, nasisipon ka rin. So, yeah. It's been lovely. A lovely evening, attorney. Baka hindi ako makatulog sa tuwa nitong pinag-uusapan natin. Di ba? So, well, okay. I guess it's time. Yeah, I guess it's time for us to say goodbye, mga kaibigan. Thank you very much, no? Sa inyong walang sawang pagsubaybay dito, no? So, sa ngalan ni Attorney Lira SIMON-CABATBAT, no? Sa ngalan ni Direk Paula, ito po si Sonny Laragang nagsasabing thank you very much, no? Sa inyong walang sawang pagsubaybay dito sa ating Immigration Corner, no? It happens every Thursday. Happy Thursday. So, we'll see you again next Thursday for another edition, no? Another edition of Immigration Corner. So, till then, take care, God bless, and good night. And have a nice weekend, no? Diretso na yan, no? Bank holiday weekend na rin, attorney, no? So, good night, take care from me and attorney and Direct Pao. Good night.